talking Tim Scott. I asked a question before we went to break because you were saying how his cabinet is diverse. He's done all of these banking things for black people on the low, while also placating white folk and making them real comfortable, gums and all. Is he a Trojan horse? I asked the question.
Yeah, I don't really think that's what I would say he is. No. Given what I understand a Trojan horse to be, I would say no. But on the front end of the break, I made the case kind of for Tim Scott, which everybody I'm famous for doing now because people know I like him and I consider him a good dude. But that said, what we saw in the last couple of days, let's just call it all things Tim Scott over the course of the last week, culminating with that atrocious moment behind him on stage yesterday or on the evening of the primaries. That was evocative of the worst of images and moments that we have seen a black man submit himself to in the name of servility and overly docile behavior. It was really not only foreign to the soul of any self-respecting black man, but it was actually like anathema. It was painful to watch. It was kryptonitic to the soul of any self-respecting black man to watch. I felt bad for Tim. I felt bad for his people who are behind him, who are good folks, who really have defended him and his behavior in the face of a lot of stuff. It just was so cringeworthy. I mean, in my mind, it's up there, but far more personally devastating. But it's up there with Michael Dukakis and a little bitty tiny war helmet. It's up there with, but for me, far more devastating just because of the visual image and that line he said, which I'm not even going to repeat, was just so, it was so immediately galvanizing to the worst elements of our cognitive collective memory of what it looks like for us to submit ourselves at the hands of known white supremacy, who is an objectively bad person and is who's telling us he's going to amplify his vileness over the next 4 years. It was that painful to me.
But can I ask you this? Because of course you have way more political know-how in those realms. I'm a literary person. So what I'm most interested in always is the stories that get told and how those stories end up hiding other stories and other truths. So part of what I'm struck by is the fact that we're talking about this in the context of primary voters giving a very strong message that even if Trump is convicted, they would vote for him. So it's a very strong message of this country is devoted to not operating based on the content of somebody's character, as long as they come in the right package. So I have that in my head. Then I have in my head, what you've said about how not sympathetic Nikki Haley is in terms of Tim Scott turning his back on her. So I guess the question that I want to ask you has to do with when Nikki Haley is talking about how this has never been a racist country, what I hear is how this country is based on I can punch you in your face and then say, who gonna check me, boo, right? So in your face, like it's a racist country. I'm going to say it's not, even as you have all the receipts that it is. But the thing is, saying that it's not is another assault. It's another punch in the face that says, who gonna check me, boo? So in that context, I'm trying to understand what happens in your analysis to the fact that all of the white villainy goes unremarked upon as we focus on, I don't know.
That's why, I understand what you're asking. I love talking to literary people because it's layers on layers of thought. I love it. Listen, I think that even the best of us, even the most well-intentioned of us fellow Wakandans who have some learning behind us, I think we often fail to resort to the simplest explanation of how we got here.
Okay.
because there are so many literary themes to pile on top of each other. What is happening in Tim Scott's mind and who warped him and how did that happen? What is happening in Nimrata Scott's mind and who warped? Why does why do the talents like Antoine Seawright and Bakari Sellers, why do they not have the opportunity to be at this global level? Oh, because they're Democrats and they're blacks, right? In the moment of the South. But there's so many themes to lay on here. But ultimately, you come to this question of why is the objectively one of the worst humans on the planet? Why is this someone we continue to promote to perhaps be our leader again? And at some point, I think we have to resort to Occam's razor, which is right in front of us, is like the people like this. There's a whole lot of people who vote for president who like this. They want this. They want mainline, that racism, like, give it to me. Yes, they like this. And we as a talkerati, and I hate the word intelligentsia, whatever those of us who think, those of us who are cursed with the burden of thinking too deeply about the world, have spent the last 10 years trying to convince ourselves why this is happening. And because we refuse to embrace the notion that this country is something that has morphed into something where a whole lot of people like this, these objectively ugly, these objectively poisonous elements, we love it. We love it and we want it in our politics because we want this chaos in our lives. We don't want people to have equal opportunity, right? We don't want black people to be free. We like this shit. And he's talking that shit we like.
And it goes to what I always say, which is that decency is not an American inheritance. We have to actually struggle for it on purpose. And the more we think that it's automatic, the more we think we can be on the sidelines.
Yeah.
No, we cannot. Gangsters versus Nazis. I highly recommend Michael Benson's book. How Jewish mobsters battled Nazis in wartime America is instructive. Nazi Town, USA on PBS. When you hear Nazi, understand you're also hearing Klan, you're hearing Confederacy, you're hearing it's all the same. It's all the same. It's not any different. It's the same thing. And to Don's point, they do like it, and they're finally in an era. And this I came to this conclusion today as I was watching Nazi Town. This clarion call. It's global and it's powerful that more people voted for this despicable human being the second time, and that he is basically running away with the nomination as people whisper that my conscience, you're lying because you go into the booth and this is who you vote for, because for the inception of this country, this has been the game. And only, to your point, Don, people who are idealistic, and I'm idealistic, so let me just raise my hand, and I think very deeply about a lot of things, so I'm gonna raise my hand. You're absolutely right, though. We're deluded. This is the reality, and they do like it, and black people like it too. Black people like it too. It feeds something in some black people too. It's not just.
I mean, I think the id exists in all of us, right? The id, the ego, the super ego, and what you have on the Republican ticket is the id, who has run absolutely wild and has been elected president before and stands to be his party's nominee. But you have him dealing with the super ego of a Nikki Haley or an ego of a Tim Scott, who are these grounding, oh no, you will center. No, there's no centering wildness. There's no reasoning or rationing or bringing him back to, no, that's why you don't let those elements into the realms of American leadership to begin with. That's why you quash violent statements. That's why you quash intolerance, and you don't allow it under the rubric of free speech, which is what these billionaires who are attacking these, public information channels are beginning to do. No, Don Lemon, you don't sell your soul to somebody in the name of they're promoting free speech. No, Tulsi Gabbard, you don't take the platform that the Democratic Party gave you as a member of Congress and as a member of the State House. You don't take that platform to deal with those evil people. The Bible says you see them and you come out from among them. Right? Because that's the opportunity to speak truth is a sacred blessing that we all have. And you don't sell that out because you didn't get renewed on CNN, right? You don't go deal with these objectively horrific people in the interest of free speech or whatever. But I will say, and there's a lot of reasons to have doom and gloom, but I'm going to try to speak about hope when we're talking about politics in this cycle, because it's going to be a rough year. The hopeful notion is, think about this. The Republican Party has only won one popular vote since 1992 for president. Only one time for president since 1992, that's 32 years now, right? Has the Republican Party won the popular vote, and that was against our objectively weakest candidate in 2004, John Kerry. But if you go 1992 to present day, only one time has the Republican Party won the vote. That means the heart and soul and the changing demographic of the American people, we are in the right place as those who would vote. You know, you can call yourself liberal or progressive or whatever, but as those who would probably pull the Democratic lever, our hearts are in the right place, and trends of time are proving that. It also proves that they win have it on the local levels by gerrymandering and stealing and vote suppressing and, you know, and cheating. They win by cheating because they're not right on the issues, and the trends over Dr. King's great arc of history shows that.
Yes. Unfortunately, you don't need the popular vote. It's an electoral college rooted in enslavement.
Right.
That's the process by which we elect presidents, and all you need are certain states, which it seems like they have mastered that too. And they got the Supreme Court now. So if there's any dispute, guess who's gonna